Hi, my name is Kent Chase, and I'm a PGA golf professional. Today we're going to talk about the grip. Pretty much all PGA golf professionals agree that the grip is perhaps the most important fundamental in golf. Of the pre-swing or the setup fundamentals, grip, alignment, and posture are the top three. Grip is always number one. The reason the grip is so important is because it highly influences where the club face is going to arrive at the moment of impact. Simply put, if you grip it correctly, it's really easy to learn how to have the club face arrive at impact square. If you grip it incorrectly, you're pretty much in a position where the club face is going to return to a place that's aiming somewhere different than the target, and the ball's going to go in an undesirable place. The grip's so important that when I went to Wild Bill Melhorn, after competing against people like Hal Sutton in the United States Amateur Championship, it was amazing to see how he could repeat his ball flight. His grip was so perfect every time. So when I got to go to his teacher, he said, you know what? I'm not going to be able to teach you today because that grip you're using is so strong and so unique and so unusual that you've developed all these uniquenesses in your swing that you've learned how to repeat. Yes, you're a very fine player, but you're not anywhere near your potential. So you need to think about this overnight before I choose to be your instructor. Actually, it's your choice. If you come back to me tomorrow and you're willing to change your grip to correct, wow, it might cost you 5 or 6 months. I realize you made All-American in college, but you got to take 6 months of commitment to change. So that's the importance of grip. And once I learned the grip and committed to change, it did take about 3 or 4 or 5 months, less than the 6 he warned me of. But my gosh, I became a ball striker, and I'm so happy I learned the influence of the grip to the club face and impact, and I became a much better player and got to play golf for a living. So when I teach, and I teach a lot of really high-level golfers with great potential that really have a great desire to succeed. They want scholarships, they want to get on a tour somewhere, whether it's the Asian Tour, European Tour. Obviously the PGA Tour or LPGA Tour is the ultimate goal. But the grip is critical. If a person will commit to the proper grip, now we can learn in-swing positions that are necessary. So we got to grip it, aim it, posture it every single time correctly, and if we can get some sort of a routine where they grip it the same way every single time, we have a chance to repeat the golf swing and repeat ball flight. So when Tiger Woods came on tour, he didn't do any what might be called preferences. He learned how to grip it, and he stuck with it the rest of his life, and he's still sticking with it. That's the way I feel about the grip for my students, and that's why they can become successful, and that's why they do become successful. It's a critical fundamental. So the easiest way to teach the grip, or to learn the grip actually, is like as simple as pounding a nail with a hammer. So if you had this golf club in your hands and made believe that it was a hammer and pounded the nail on the ground a little bit and just kind of felt like you're pounding a nail over and over again, ultimately you would hold the club in a very natural position. Your pad would accept the blow, your thumb would be on top and slightly right of center, and the relationship between the back of the left hand and the back of the left arm would be relatively flat, or let's call it neutral. It's a very neutral position. So if the hammerhead is hitting the nail squarely, you've got your left hand in the correct place. So simple. So this is it. Boom. So it's actually part of a lot of players' pre-shot routine. Pound a nail, walk to the ball, put the right hand down. So let's talk about how to put the right hand on. I've got a bucket of balls right here, so I'm going to pick this bucket of balls up right-handed, and I'm going to pick it up and pretend it weighs a lot. I could add some weight to it. I wish I had some heavy rocks in here or something, because let's say I had to carry this for a long distance, maybe a couple hundred yards. The easiest place to carry this bucket in my right hand is in the second phalanx of the right fingers, not in the tips. That's the first phalanx. Yes, the second, not in the third. In the first phalanx, I might let go and lose the bucket, and I got to pick up balls. In this third phalanx, I got to flex muscles, and I'll get pretty tired. If I let it just dangle from the natural position, the second phalanx, I've got it held perfectly in my hand. This is how I want my right hand to go on the club. Right in the second phalanx of the right hand, right there, as if I'm picking up a bucket. So I've got it right in the second phalanx. The little finger is out of my way because I'm going to take these fingers and slide it up to make a connection with my left hand. Now I got to do something with this little finger, the option is overlap or interlock. It doesn't matter. Half the players on tour overlap, half the players on tour interlock. Everything else is exactly the same. Here's overlap, here's interlock. Thumb goes to the left of center. Half the professionals like to touch the forefinger and thumb of the right hand, half don't, but it's all on the side of that thumb, just like so. Now, we take this little slot, which is the crease formed between in your hand here, and we're going to lower that till it connects to the left thumb. Now we've got a perfect grip. This is how you grip it. Pound the nail, boom. Thumb slightly right of center. Neutral wrist, which means the back of the left hand and the back of the left arm are relatively straight with one another. Perfect. Pick up the bucket of balls, slide it till it connects. Either go overlap or interlock. Put the thumb down left center and lower that crease till it covers. You got a perfect grip. That's the way I want you to hold it every single time. Grip pressure, my gosh, this club could almost come out of my hands. It's really light, maybe about as hard as you would hold a baby bird. You don't want the bird to die, but you sure don't want him to get away and fall and crash his head on the ground. That's how light. It's very light grip pressure. About the pressure that you would hold, not hard boiled, a nice little egg fresh out of the carton. What's the tightest you could squeeze that without breaking it and getting yolk all over your hands? That's the tightest you should ever hold one of these. Now you got the grip the way it's supposed to be on there, and you got proper grip pressure, which is going to be here to the top, to impact, and to finish. It's always going to be a constant. That's the grip. So I'm going to try to have a little practice session today. I haven't played as much recently. I've been busy teaching, so now, you know, somebody invited me to play golf. The problem is, over my career, I've had an issue where I like to grip it a little strong. It's a very bad preference, which causes a shut face at impact, which causes a hook. Since I have knowledge of my tendency, which I disallow, which could be called a preference, if I do allow it, I disallow it. So now I'm going to try to hit some balls, and I'm going to grip it correctly. I don't care where my ball goes. I might have to hit 20 balls before it feels good again, but I'm going to grip it correctly. So my grip is where I want to be, got my alignment and my posture, and I'm going to just see what happens. There you go. Okay, so Miles, what I want you to do for the camera, we're going to find a neutral, totally neutral grip, just kind of the way I explained it a moment ago, which is the way you do it, but just so the viewer knows, can you clap hands for a moment? And stop at impact on one of the times. Bam. That's where your hands naturally want to be at impact. You took it back somewhere and you took both hands somewhere and they arrived at impact naturally in a perfectly neutral position. Now, keeping everything as it is, kind of raise your right hand just a bit like I did and then grip it. I mean, you know, just like we're doing on a golf club. That is the grip. It's that simple. So now I want you to do it with left hand, pound the nail with the neutral and the right hand slightly to the right of center. Left hand first, pound the nail left-handed. Okay, over to the left side of your body, good. So it's neutral. Let's just verify that this thumb stopped there. He made impact. That pad accepted the blow. It's up on top. The camera probably can't see the top of that grip. This thumb is barely right of center. It's easy to tell on this one, the golf pride. Barely right of the word golf pride. Now he's going to hold this bucket just for a second, and you're going to let it dangle from your hands. I'm going to put weight on it. You could walk 100 miles like that, couldn't you?
Yeah.
You would not hold that in your tips for fear of losing him, and we'd be picking up balls. You wouldn't grip it in your hand because you're flexing too much muscles. You'd let it dangle. And that's the key, really. I didn't explain it before, but this creates something called ease of motion. If your muscles are at soft and supple, you'll be at ease of motion. And believe it or not, you'll get more speed and more repetition than if you're flexing them. So if you're flexing them, you're tight, you're slow, you're actually slowing the club down. This is speeding the club up. It's a beautiful thing. So that's how soft we're going to hold this grip. Now, the way you held that, keep your left hand where it was. Is it still the same? Pick that up like it's a bucket of balls in your second phalanx of the right hand like we just did. Good, he's already put everything on there. He's got the overlap grip. This is here. He's got no airspace there. That little crack covered the thumb. He's in perfect shape. Now put it down. It's beautiful. These hands are opposing one another just like when he was clapping hands, so we know they're neutral. Bam, bam. Now he's going to hit a ball. Let me get this out of your way. Hold on, let me get this out of your way as well. Okay. So you got good grip, good alignment, good posture. Ball's in the correct place. Let's get it gone to the target. Hold that finish. Okay, so professionals pretty much you'll find use neutral grips. Pretty much all of them. Those who don't, know how to accommodate with unique moves that they can repeat. Very difficult to do. Paul Lazinger is a perfect example. He has a very strong grip. Well, the problem is the club's going to return, or the hands are going to return to neutral. Thus, in Paul Lazinger's case, his club's going to be 45 degrees shuttered impact. His ball should be going right at his left shoe. But he knows a way to handle it. He can have his hands so far forward at impact, de-loft it, and have the club square. Too hard for the amateurs. They don't have enough time to hit 1,000 balls per day. So they better be neutral. So here is the problem. Strong grip, like most, probably more than half players use a grip that's too strong. You can see the back of their left hand pointing that way. Problem is their hand's going to be neutral at impact. The player looks down at the club, it looks square to them, but they don't realize this is where they really are, because that's where it's really going to be at impact. Opposite is true with the guy that has weak grip. For some reason, a lot of women, I don't really know why this feels good to them, but they go on the weak side of things. So you can see the grip under their club, the bottom of their, or the back of their left hand is pointing down there somewhere. It's weak, and the problem with this weak thing is their club face is going to return to open at impact. Our hands want to be here at impact. So if we start in a unique place at address and they end up at impact where they want to be, then we're going to have, in the case of a weak grip, we're going to end up open. In the case of a strong grip, we're going to end up where the hands want to be, opposing one another, closed. That's the problem. So our grip has to be neutral. And there's varying degrees of strong and there's varying degrees of weak. We just want bam, 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 neutral, no influence. A lot easier to learn how to play golf. So I've had a nice practice session using a neutral grip. Just for fun, I'm going to try a strong grip and hit a ball, and I'm going to try a weak grip and hit a ball. Same swing, this time strong grip. Let's see what happens. Notice where my hand, you can see the back of my left hand. If I was wearing a glove, I tend to wear a FootJoy glove, the letter FJ, you could probably read it. Normally you wouldn't be able to, now you can. Okay, I'm going to hit a ball. It's probably going to be a big hook. That's a little draw. Problem is I knew I had a strong grip and I kind of hung on to it a little bit, so I didn't want an ugly hook too much. So now I'm going to try a weak grip. I know this ball's going to the right. There's no way. I am really not going to be very good at this shot. And this is a problem with weak grips, go really short and to the right tendency-wise. I'm going to probably hit this over there by that car path, way over there. Weak grip, trying my hardest. Yeah, thin. Lost my balance. I didn't understand where the club was. I actually hit the car path this way, right? Yeah, it's out of bounds. Bad shot. As I said before, the grip is the most important fundamental. Never give in, never compromise. If you grip the club correctly the rest of your life, every time before every shot, you're on your way to reaching your potential. This is Ken Chase. Be sure to get a copy of my book, If I Only Had a Mulligan. It is a process I use for developing highly competitive and successful players. Over 50 state high school champions, over 50 scholarships awarded, U.S. Kids World Champions, U.S. Junior Champions, U.S. Amateur Champions, PGA and LPGA Touring Professionals. Make the most of your time. Remember, how you learn is just as important as what you learn.
Arigato! Hey! Arigato! Arigato gozaimasu! Arigato! Hey! Arigato! Arigato gozaimasu! Hey! 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 Arigato! Hey! Arigato! Arigato gozaimasu! Hey! 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 Domo! Arigato! Hey! Arigato! Arigato gozaimasu! Arigato! Hey! Arigato! Arigato gozaimasu! Hey! 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 Arigato! Hey! Arigato! Arigato gozaimasu! Hey! 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 Domo! ございます。はいはいはいはいはいはい